Let's talk about free agencies, trades, and everything else. The first big trade, I think, of the offseason. Grayson Rodriguez was traded yesterday for Taylor Ward of the Angels, which was eye-opening for a lot of people, to say the least. Now, if you guys remember, Grayson Rodriguez has 2 years of Major League, 3 years of Major League service, 2.5 plus. He is, a stud for the Orioles. They have high hopes for him, be at front of the rotation. He missed all of last year with an elbow injury because everyone gets hurt and he throws hard. It's the way it is. But he's 26 years old. He's got 4 more years of team control. He's a 4.11 ERA with 259 strikeouts in 238 innings. So even when he has pitched, he has been successful. And Taylor Ward's coming off his best season. He's got a 237, a batting average, 61 home runs, and 178 RBIs in the last 2 years. 230 home run seasons. We picked him to be the MVP of the Angels last year, and he was. And he's 25th of 316 hitters in chase rate. So he's like good at not chasing either. So he's been a quality player. But what is the head scratcher about this situation is the Orioles have had a logjam in the outfield, and they just got another outfielder, and they gave up a starting pitcher in which they have very little. So this seems to kind of be a step back, but I feel like you only do something like this if you have a plan in mind, you got someone else you're going for. So this just exacerbates their starting pitching problem. A little bit of a head scratcher, but I think Taylor Ward is going to be successful there. I think he's a quality outfielder. But the Angels got a young, controllable starting pitcher, which is also, I don't know, my head's scratching both sides because this is not a deal either one of these sides usually do, but it happened. I'd love to know what you guys think about this because this is a great one to talk about in the comments. But, Taylor Ward plus Colin Cowser and Tyler O'Neill in the outfield, a healthy Tyler O'Neill, maybe more a bop, maybe more a juice. But, where's the starting pitcher going to come from? We'll see. We still need starting pitching, so you better have some options, and especially with an impending lockout, who knows what's going to happen there. Josh Naylor signs a 5-year, I believe it was 5-year, $92.5 million deal. And the prediction was 5-year 90. So nailed that, which I think is awesome. If the Mariners just do this and maybe add some platoon options, some veteran options. They still need to address third base or if Gino's not coming back. But I love this. I think he fits in perfectly with this lineup. He fits in perfectly with his clubhouse. He fits in perfectly with this ballpark. He does all the little things well. This is a guy who is maybe not an analytics darling, even though there's a lot of analytics, nice things about him analytically with his inability to strike out. The way he battles, length of ABs is high. He's got some juice. He plays good defense. He's really smart on the base pass, getting a lot of value there. Though it might not be the most eye-popping numbers, perfect for the Mariners. I love that for them. He hit 299 with 9 home runs and 33 RBIs and 19 stolen bases, 19 attempts for the Mariners after being traded. And pulled off almost a 300 batting average and a 3.1 WAR for the first time in his career. Congratulations to you, Josh. And we're glad to have you up here. I think that's awesome. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the qualifying offers really quick. Those of you that don't know what a qualifying offer is, it's a 1-year offer for a team that is a salary that is the average of the top 125 AAVs in the league. I hope that makes sense. And the reason that happens is a player gets the offer. If you accept it, great, you get a 1-year deal at that number. If you reject it, you go into free agency just like normal, and that team gets the opportunity to get a supplemental pick in the next draft. So when lots of teams throw lots of them out, they're like, if we get the guy, great, we want you still, and we'll pay you 1 year. We don't want to sign you long term, so we can handle that. But if you reject it, we would love the pick too. Sometimes they actually want the pick a little bit more than they want the guy, and the guy takes it, which is awkward sometimes. Rare, but it happens. Actually, it's rare that anyone usually takes it. 14 guys have taken, of 144, have taken them since it's existed. That's about 10% rate. This year, 4 of the 13 did, which is really interesting. So the 4 guys who took it, Brandon Woodruff, I think that was smart. He's been hurt a lot. Though he is very good, you want to guarantee the money you can get. Shohei Managa, that's interesting too. But again, if you don't think there's going to be a lot out there for you, take the $22 million. Gleyber Torres, that one's a little bit weird because I think second baseman would be, I think he could get something good. Trent Grisham with the Yankees, I think everyone thought he wasn't going to take that because he had a literally career platform year, but he decided that he wants to take it. Now, there are more guys taking it now than ever before. Why do we think that is? It's because of the lockout, guys. The impending lockout is scary. And basically, if you are a guy who's like, hey, I'm getting the qualifying offer, and out there in the market, I'll probably get like a 4-year, 55 or 60 million, right? So qualifying offer, higher AAV, is 22 million. Your AAV would be 15 if you sign that deal. If you believe that there's very likely to lose a season to a lockout or lose a lot of money there, you're going to take the guaranteed money and then test it out again, right? You're like, I'll take the extra 7 million on the front end because I might miss a year in there. That is probably a big reason this stuff's happening. It's going to be very interesting to see how free agency contracts shake out with that in mind. But just something to think about. That's probably factoring in. That's probably why we saw more qualifying offers taken this year. 9 players who declined the qualifying offer Kyle Schwarber, duh. A guy who's obviously going to go, just throw him the qualifying offer because you just get a free pick. That's what most of this is. Schwarber is gone. Tucker's gone. Ranger Suarez is gone. Framber Valdez is gone. Bo Bichette was going to go. Dylan Cease was going to go. Edwin Diaz, a little bit interesting because he had to opt out before they gave him the qualifying offer. So if he didn't opt out, they're good. But they're like, oh, since he opted out, that means he wants to leave. So let's give him a qualifying offer, get a free pick. Zach Gallen, he was going to go, and Michael King was going to go. Like, all those guys should be testing the free agent market because they could get longer than just a handful of years. So that all makes sense to me. There's a couple, like Gleyber Torres is a little bit interesting, so is Trent Grisham, but I can't fault him either, okay? So that's qualifying offer. That's what we have going here. Brandon Woodruff, there he is. Let's talk about some interesting trades that could happen that we saw could go from certain teams, and maybe there's something there, all right? Let's quickly hit them. Let's talk first about the Cardinals. We don't talk about the Cardinals a lot on this channel, but we're going to talk about some guys that could possibly be trade chips for this year, okay? Sonny Gray, Nolan Arenado. We'll see if Nolan's on the table. There's a very weird thing going on where we don't know how valuable he is. Lars Nootbaar could be very interesting to some other teams, and I think probably the big prize would be Brendan Donovan. I think Brendan Donovan would be a very good player for anyone. He's got great utility. He hits. He's a professional player. He does everything well. I think he's just completely overlooked as one of the better players, one of the guys you got to worry about in that lineup and on that team. And Kyle Bloom is about to take over. So we'll see how he wheels and deals with these guys. But those guys are probably all on the block. One interesting thing for the Brewers, next up, Freddie Peralta. Now, I know he is their ace, and I want them to keep him. I don't want him to go anywhere. But at the same time, if you're looking to get a little bit more, now's the time to get a little bit more. So it's a 3-for-1, 2-for-1 deal. Sometimes you got to take that deal if it presents itself. That said, I like that they have their ace. I think they would rather not trade their ace, but with Brandon Woodruff taking the qualifying offer, it might even be more likely. I don't think it's super likely, but it's interesting. And they have a history of trading their best players a little bit before free agency. So I don't know, to avoid the pain, maybe. Like what they did with Corbin Burns and Devin Williams, et cetera, and Josh Hader, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The Marlins, don't forget Sandy Alcantara. He's out there, and Edward Cabrera. Those two guys are big prizes. Past Cy Young, he's a full year off. Tommy John, I think this guy's going to bring in a haul for them. And I think that if the opportunity presents itself, he's going. And I think he should. And I think it's better for him, too. I think it's better for everyone involved. Sandy Alcantara should probably be on another team. So we'll see. The Twins. We have Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez, and Ryan Jeffers on this list, but I'll be honest, I think this is very unlikely. It's interesting to see if they want to keep going or not go, but I think if you trade him or Pablo, if you trade both of them, if you trade two of these three guys, Byron Buxton's probably going to waive. I know Buck a lot. I know he really doesn't want to waive his trade clause, but like if you're going to just trade everybody all the time, like that's when you change because Byron Buxton wants to win at the end of the day. So I hope they don't, but those guys are their value. But at the same time, let him come back. Lopez, Ryan, Jeffers. I just realized that's Ryan Jeffers' first name too. That's crazy. Keep him. Mick Abel's going to be better. I think Taj Bradley's going to be better. I think they're going to be more competitive than people are giving credit to. I really do. I just think they're better. Okay, quick rapid fire. Red Sox. The outfield. Jarren Duran, Wilyer Abreu. I think Jarren Duran is the most likely. And if he does go, they need to bring in some starting pitching. We'll talk about that in a moment. I'm going to propose a trade for you. But I think one of those two guys are great targets, especially with the young guys they have now. We have the Nationals. Mackenzie Gore is now really valuable, top 3 rotation type of guy. A team could really use him. I think he would bring in a big haul. Though their young guys that they got for Soto are good, they're just not really coalescing into a core yet. So maybe we use a couple of those pieces that have developed into good players to get more good players. New regime there. We'll see how they do. And then the Royals. Sell high on Chris Bubich. He had a great year last year after really not developing very quickly, but he seems to come into his own. And he is a lefty, and lots of teams need lefties, namely the Boston Red Sox, and they need outfielders. So I think Jarren Duran going to the Royals, and then they signed Kyle Tucker, and now we are cooking with gas in Kansas City. Who knows? I don't know, but it could be interesting. Wouldn't that be so interesting?